Excruciating pain shot through her body at every turn. She wanted to postpone her last moment as long as possible. Despite everything that had happened to her, she desperately wanted to live, even for a few minutes longer. When she died, this thin branch of the Bisset bloodline would die too. And with it would go the campfire dream. Her mother, a healer like herself, had met her maker almost 10 years past, and her father, a traveling merchant, had dropped dead at the helm of his caravan wagon last winter. But for as long as Anna could remember, their evening ritual had included a detailing of the home they'd someday possess. A real home, not a bedroll in the back of a wagon. A thatch-roofed house nestled in a deep glen next to a winding burn, with a fieldstone hearth and a large garden bursting with fresh herbs. Anna closed her eyes. A home might only ever be a dream, but she could have planted a garden. A rattle of heavy iron chain and a low groan echoed through the cavern. The only other occupant of the dungeon was a large, badly beaten man chained to the far wall of the room above. The guards had called him MacCurran, but no one in Lochkirky carried that name. He was a stranger who was receiving regular food and water. She tried not to resent that, but failed. Beatings could be endured, a lack of water could not. Another sound broke the silence of the night, a muffled grunt. It was accompanied by the slide of a leather boot on the dirt floor. Anna opened her eyes and peered up at the mouth of the hole. Sure enough, the flickering gleam of a torch brightened the roof above her head. Someone was visiting MacCurran. At this hour? After the guard had gone to bed? A very odd occurrence. "Hello," she called out. Her mouth was so dry all she managed was a croak, so she licked her lips and tried again. "Hello?" A terse exchange of whispers took place somewhere out of sight, then nothing. No one responded to her call. Chain links clinked, then fell to the packed dirt floor with a thump. More scuffled footsteps, and another moan from the prisoner, this one louder. The glow of the torchlight dimmed, moving slowly but steadily away. The visitors were leaving. The thick pitch of midnight would soon clog her throat again. A prideless plea spilled from Anna's lips, driven by raw desperation. "Please, don't go." The circle of light on the ceiling continued to slip away. "Please!" The torchlight paused. Another harsh exchange of murmurs took place, ending with a short, final order. Then the circle of light grew larger and brighter still. They were coming back. Her bottom lip a-quiver with gratitude, she shielded her eyes from the glare and waited to see a human face. A hooded figure leaned over the mouth of the oubliette. A man, judging by the imposing height and broad shoulders. His face was hidden in shadow, the color of his brat lost in the murk. He stood over her for a moment, as if considering what to do, then threw down a rope. "Tie it about your waist." It was a voice that brooked no refusal, smooth and smoky like whiskey, but edged with steel. She stared at the dangling rope. Escaping her fate had not been her aim. All she had hoped for was a glimpse of another person and a brief dialogue before death claimed her. But this man was offering her freedom, a chance at a future, life. Even as weak as she was, how could she not leap at it? She grasped the rough braid of hemp and quickly pulled the rope around her waist. Tying the knot was more of a challenge. Her fingers were stiff and uncooperative, and her unbound hair kept getting in the way. But after a few stumbling tries and a grunt of disapproval from her savior, she managed to get the rope knotted. "'Tis done." He didn't answer, just set the torch in a bracket on the wall and began tugging her up through the hole with surprising gentleness. Sadly, his care did little to ease the journey. As her legs stretched out and blood flowed freely once more, every inch of her skin burst into flame, and 1,000 tiny knives sliced into her flesh. A scream rose up in her throat, but she contained it with a fierce clench.